The Forbidden Truth: How Humanity Lost Eden's Paradise and What It Means for Us Today. In the beginning, there was perfection, the Garden of Eden, a paradise with every delight at humankind's fingertips. God placed Adam and Eve in this paradise, granting them dominion over all the earth, and they lived freely, joyfully, in communion with the Creator and the world around them. Their only instruction? To avoid eating from one single tree, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The setting and the temptation. The garden was a marvel. Rivers crisscrossed through it, providing life to plants of every variety. Beauty surrounded Adam and Eve at every turn. But there was also mystery, a single tree standing in the middle of the garden, forbidden and alluring. God had warned them, "On the day you eat of it, you shall surely die." This prohibition set the stage, a reminder that freedom always comes with responsibility. And then came the serpent, cunning and clever. One day it approached Eve, asking a simple, beguiling question: "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" The question was calculated, a seed of doubt sown with perfect timing. Eve clarified that they could eat from any tree, except that one in the center, lest they die. The serpent, sly and reassuring, pushed further, saying, "You will not surely die, for God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." The forbidden act curiosity stirred. Could it be true? What would it mean to be like God? Eve looked at the tree, its fruit pleasing and beautiful, and reached out, plucking one of the ripe fruits. She took a bite, and with that single act, the balance of the world shifted. She handed the fruit to Adam, and he too ate. At that moment, their eyes were opened, just as the serpent had promised. But rather than becoming godlike in wisdom and glory, they were overwhelmed with a painful new awareness. They felt naked, vulnerable, exposed in a way they had never known. Ashamed and afraid, they covered themselves with leaves, hoping to hide from the all-seeing eyes of God. Confrontation and consequence. When God walked in the garden that evening, Adam and Eve hid themselves. God called out to Adam, "Where are you?" The question, both simple and profound, was the first call of accountability, a moment for reflection and confession. Trembling, Adam responded, admitting that he hid because he was afraid. "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree I commanded you not to eat from?" God asked, giving Adam and Eve a chance to own their actions. But instead, the blame began to shift. Adam pointed to Eve. "The woman you put here with me, she gave me the fruit." And Eve in turn blamed the serpent. "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." For their disobedience, they faced consequences that reverberated throughout humanity. The ease and abundance of Eden were lost. Hardship would be their new reality. God explained that Adam would toil by the sweat of his brow to provide food, and Eve would experience pain in childbearing. Both were cast out of paradise, forced to forge a life outside the garden, bearing the weight of their decision. The modern lesson: choosing accountability over blame. The story of the fall of man offers a powerful lesson that resonates today. Adam and Eve had everything, yet a single choice took it away. Their story isn't just about an ancient temptation. It's a timeless illustration of how our choices, often driven by impatience or a desire for more, can have lasting consequences. Today, we too face forbidden trees in our lives, things that seem alluring yet are off limits for good reason. In our modern world, we often deflect responsibility, shifting blame to others, just as Adam and Eve did. The lesson: true freedom requires accountability. Owning our choices, even when we fall short, helps us grow and protects the community around us. In a society where quick gratification and finger-pointing have become the norm, the fall of man reminds us that taking responsibility is a mark of true maturity and integrity. Redemption and hope. While the fall brought separation and hardship, it didn't erase the possibility of redemption. God's love persisted, even in exile. The story hints at a larger narrative of forgiveness and reconciliation that unfolds throughout the Bible. For us today, it's a message of hope. No mistake, however big, is beyond the reach of grace. The path to restoration begins with taking accountability and choosing to make better decisions moving forward. Conclusion. The story of Eden's loss invites us to reflect deeply on our own choices and the ripples they create. We may not live in a garden, but the decisions we make and the accountability we embrace can lead us toward or away from a fulfilled, responsible, and connected life.